Welcome back. So we've got a fun one for you today. Might be a little bit of a touchy subject, but I think it's good to have those conversations every now and again. And these are the type of conversations that get swept under or we try to avoid, or perhaps we just don't want to acknowledge. And so the conversation we're going to have today is, are you the reason that the people around you fail? It's pretty bold, right? And some of you might be going, what does he mean? Some of you might be like, shit, he's on to me. And some of you might be the people that others think about when I bring up that question. And here's why that's important. What I mean by that question, are you the reason that the people around you fail, is it can have a lot of different reasons. Now, the ones I'm going to bring up specifically are the ones that kind of, they go to the store looking for problems. They go to the store looking for attention. They're the ones that become the drain. They're the ones that want to be carried and encouraged and constantly make excuses. And they're kind of the downer, but they're always a part of something, right? And so other people try to encourage them and they don't do much, right? Like they're the lost cause, right? These people, the ones that cause others to fail, the ones that, the woe is me, the ones that are always saying, oh, I would, but, or let's do this instead, or, I think you know who I'm talking about here, right? And why is it important for the person to acknowledge themselves? Well, the first one is most people don't like ownership of things. Most people don't want to own up to the fact that they're the ones that are responsible for themselves not getting results. Now, depending on the personality, and I'll give you a quick dynamic, let's say somebody says, hey, I want to go work out. And somebody's like, oh, I had a really bad day. I argued with my kids. I argued with my parents, whatever it is, right? And they're like, I'd really like just to go talk and this and that. And that person then sucks somebody away from something that was important to them. Now, here's why this is a problem, is in some cases that happens. That's normal. But when it becomes a habit, when it becomes something where they might not be only talking to one person like this, they might be talking to multiple people. They might be the person that constantly distracts or detracts people from their own goals in this self-fulfilling kind of need-filling way, because this is how they get attention. And the reason I want to bring this up is some of you know these people. Some of you really want to help these people, the bleeding heart, right? You have this compassion. You're like, you know what, if I just spend some time with them, or if I just encourage them, you know what? Some people don't want to be encouraged. Some people don't want help. Some people like the attention. That's the only way they know how to get it. Some people will never take responsibility. Those are those people. We don't need to write a book. We don't need to figure it out. We don't got to read anything. Those are just those people. Now, those are also the people that you'll probably want to limit your time with. Those are the people that when you're doing things positively, the things that move you towards your goals, they're probably not going to be a part of it. And you know them because you have to convince them to do things that excite you. Sometimes that excitement doesn't need to be shared. It needs to be embraced by other people that already share that excitement. Not the people that you're trying to convince because it's good for them. Not the people you're trying to convince because it's a good outcome. Some people just aren't going to change. They're not going to change. Okay? They have a problem for every solution. Every single one, every single time. They got an acre of pain, they got a solution, they got a problem for the solution. Always. Okay? They have a goal, they like to complain about something, they have a problem for those solutions. Because in reality, we all know what to do for most of the things. And if you don't, I'll give you a secret. Google a very high quality question regarding your problem. And chances are somebody's already figured it out. If you don't want to read a book, you can just go to like Psychology Today and read an article. Now, this isn't to shame or categorize anybody because we don't know who feels this way and we don't know who these people are. But I will tell you on both sides, if you're that person, you look in the mirror and every time somebody says something, you got a problem for every solution or you're a pessimist, you need to chill out, regroup, and shape the way you think. Right? Get clear on your goals, find people that are supportive that you can't use for those things. And those of you that are trying to drag people, here's the deal. If you're really strong, you're really strong, okay? How many people could you carry on your back if you're really strong? One, like a piggyback ride for sure, okay? Now, how about two? Probably not. Well, this same thing happens to us emotionally. When we put a lot of attention and energy into something, even if it's trying to help somebody do good, and it becomes this negative feedback loop, and there's no positive outcome associated with it, and that burden becomes very heavy for the individual, it wears down the enthusiasm and the energy of that person who's trying to carry, okay? So my recommendation, and taken for what it's worth, get around the people that are moving your direction, right? Don't stare in the rearview mirror. You're not going that direction. Some people can either, how's the saying go? Lead, follow, or get out of the way. That's it. And I'm not saying cut people off, but what I am saying is if you're the person that's causing others to fail, change. That's it. Change. For those of you that are trying to help that person over and over and over again, and it's not working, leave the anchor. Okay, cut your ties, move on. Find somebody that's going in that same direction. So, not sure how you're going to take this. Might not even be a good video. But chances are it's one that we need to hear. Now, I say this because I've been on both sides of that. There were times where growing up, I was kind of like the Debbie Downer pessimist guy. And I didn't realize I was doing that. I didn't know that I was doing that until somebody brought it to my attention. And I was very young. I was probably in elementary school, and I was called a pessimist. And I was like, what is a pessimist? I have no idea what this means. So I went and talked to my dad. My dad said, oh, how do you spell it? And I was like, I don't know. He said, look it up, right? So I had to sound it out, look it up. And then over there, there was, how in the dictionary, the old dictionaries, you look it up and it says the opposite, right? And so I was like, oh, an optimist. Okay, well, what's that? And I was like, wow, I'd much rather be an optimist than a pessimist. So I started trying to be that person, right? I didn't know what it meant, but I tried because at that point, and even as a kid, I had a chip on my shoulder. It was something that I've realized that many of us have a disposition. Now, whether that's nature or nurture, who knows? But we can condition ourselves to not necessarily be that way. It doesn't mean we don't have boundaries. It doesn't mean that we don't take care of ourselves. And it doesn't mean we don't take care of others, but we do have boundaries for ourselves in order to keep a positive outlook in the direction that we are going. Okay, because we can't help everybody. But if you're looking for a helping hand, look at the end of your wrist. Buck up and let's get it going. I'll see you in the next video.